sometimes to slow down and tune in. Whatever I've gone through to arrive at the page can be released in favour of being in the here and now. Even the smallest of rituals emphasise this. Ultimately, for me, the creative act is one of deep connection.
You know, I've always thought that the Easter egg hunt must have come from all kinds of little Northern European kids going off into the forest, where all kinds of kids in all kinds of springtimes went into all kinds of forests and looked for eggs, little songbird wild eggs. And the kid that found the one that looked like the mini egg was the winner. We've been home for a week. My son, my husband, and I, like most of the rest of the world, wanting to carry on, wondering how things will pick up. I've been thinking about my friends and family and all the people I make art with as an art therapist, my clients. All these families with small kids and school-aged and teenage kids. We've all lost the structure of our days for a time. A great pause. So this is an offering to my family, my friends, my clients, and anyone else who finds it comforting in anxious times. Today, my son and I are marking the Equinox. We're making art to meet the eightfold year, as led by my friend, artist Julie Gibbons in Scotland. Julie has invited her followers to gather natural pigments to make egg tempera. We set the table, beeswax candles. The candle maker taught me their light matches sunlight. The rain has stopped. Finn and I have the idea that we'll go to the creek and we'll find our own pigments in the clay rock in the riverbed. My son is in what grade?
Grade 4.
And you are?
9.
How long have we lived near this creek?
We have lived here 3 years.
So we're starting to know the place.
Yes.
I remember making paint from clay rocks in a creek bed where I grew up when I was your age. We looked for clay rocks. We tested them out a little bit. How did we test them?
We grinded them a bit at the creek and checked out their pigment.
So you took 2 kinds of the same rock, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Dipped them in the water,
Mm-hmm.
ground them together.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you know if they were good for paint?
You would see pigment come out of it.
Yeah, it kind of made like a paste.
Mm-hmm.
You put some on your face.
Mm-hmm.
I had never made egg tempera from clay pigment before.
Me neither.
We have paints in our sketchbooks. Some simple art supplies, dip pens and ink. Cheap and everyone loves them. Makes you practice your penmanship. And here we are grinding, huh, Finn?
Mm-hmm.
There's this piece here where we're practicing with our art materials, and I wanted to tell the people that it's important to get to know your art materials, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta mess around.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta make a mess on a page where there's just no other object than to getting to know your art materials.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the clay that we made, or the clay paint, the tempera?
Oh, it was very good.
Yeah? What'd you like about it?
Well, I liked how, it was, like, the right consistency.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're making this mess, and this is actually most of what I see kids do in my sessions, is that they mess around, and they don't often commit to a piece like you do. I want to say this. Not everybody commits to doing a drawing like you did. And I'd like this to be my creative prompt for this film. First, you mess around with art materials that you've got, and then you commit to a page and you make a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that's what we did, is we wanted to come out of the day with one page that we made a picture on. Art making is an adventure that we go on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know quite what we're making until it's done. The journey is a part of the art, and there are discoveries.
You can't buy what no one's selling. There's no road and no one's spelling out where it may lead. Take no pride from forest felling. We are trees, but I'm not telling you you need to be what you can be.
I create a nest that clearly references the one on my head. And the steps that are given by my good art guide, Julie Gibbons, I like she suggests I leave room in my nest for eggs. And I made 3 eggs. You know why? I chose 3 eggs because I liked the look of 3 eggs in the nest, and then I realized it was for the 3 of us in our nest.
Oh, I guess, but there's 4 of us.
Well, it's
and
true.
she came from an egg.
That's true. We do live with a bird. And this was the week of the March break. And so I'd been really looking forward ever since Christmas to this week of spring break. And I think it was just on Friday where everything just went way, just like what happened what was happening?
A lot.
What do you remember from last week?
They announced lots of things about COVID and so many places shutting down and stuff like that.
That's right. So I tried not to pay too close attention because everything was spinning so quickly, it was changing every day, huh? Like, it's nice when we get to spend time together, huh?
Yeah.
So, strangely, that made this week a really special one.
Yeah.
But it's also strange because everybody's staying inside. Finn is off on his own. He's off, and he's accompanied by his own muses. And I see a lot of trees drawn, Finn. It's actually it's even assessment, a standardized assessment to draw a tree, or to draw a person picking an apple from a tree, if you want to do that. And then, spoiler alert, you look at your picture and you ask, how easy is it for that person to grasp an apple? And what parallel does that have to you and your aspirations or your intentions? And yours were special. Yours was special because it was very robust. You did it sort of three-dimensionally. You have a branch growing towards your viewer. And then you drew this tree with arms that were coming off towards the viewer and with this upwards perspective. That's the thing about your drawing too, is that when you look at your painting, especially once you've painted it in, it looks like you're looking up at a tree. Your drawing makes me look up at a tree. And I think at first I thought, well, maybe kids are really good at drawing that perspective because they're always looking up at adults too. So kids are always looking up, so of course they look up at trees. I also look up at trees, but the way that you drew that tree made me think about being a child. I thought it was a really beautiful drawing of a tree. So I imagined my nest having these black feathers, and then I imagined that my nest was a raven's nest. And there were raven's eggs. And when we looked up raven's eggs, oh, Finn, you saw them. What did they look like?
They were blue, brown, polka dotted. Beautiful small eggs.
No, they're pretty big. They were like kind of like busting out. You made these rounds of stars. You made 3 stars on the right-hand side of your tree. And then they didn't survive. They got blacked over. And I was thinking about how that part where you black over your stars, I don't think Dad caught that. He caught you painting them, but he didn't capture you blacking them out. I thought, oh, that's dark times. It's really dark times because kids, not everybody gets a starry sky in the middle of the city. You think you get to see a starry sky?
No.
Did you have anything in your mind when you blacked out those stars?
Just that I would rather have more of them. And I didn't get the chance to because I forgot to. So I just decided that a few stars is better than no stars, but doesn't look good. Since this is a painting, I wanted it to look good.
So then you got rid of all the stars?
Yeah, I'm kind of mean.
Well, you're pretty all or nothing. I see that a lot. And you really used all of the clay colors that we made really nicely. Like you only made, your whole painting was in the colors the pigments that we collected at the creek.
Except for the black.
Except for the black. And the black, that's Yarka Darks that Dad bought at Pearl Paints in, like, near Canal Street in New York City. So we crushed up those gorgeous Yarka Darks, which are really special charcoals. They're made in, I think, in Russia. And they made the blackest of blackest of blackest of blacks, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
But an earthy black, a gorgeous earthy black. Those were such... Didn't you find those a pleasure to paint with?
Mm-hmm.
And then I loved painting with them so much I made raven's feathers. As soon as I made my eggs, I just wanted them to be surrounded by black feathers. They were not eggs yet. They were just the absences of eggs. Sometimes I take apart the nests in the backyard to make room for a new nest, and I find all these feathers that the birds feather their nest, right? They put all kinds of feathers on, really like the part where the baby chicks will hatch.
Mm-hmm.
And they make it really soft. I did come up afterwards, as Finn is saying, with 3 ideas or 3, I don't know if it's dreams or 3 wishes. I don't know how to quite sum it up, but I wrote 3 new things that I'm starting that I want to hatch over this spring. And I wrote my secrets in each egg, and then I painted an acrylic paint, like an eggshell over top, mixed with eggshells. And Finn started journaling. He started being inspired by the journaling I did on my eggs. He wrote around his tree, but it was all about COVID-19. Peer in if you can. He has some good thoughts. And after I wrote them, I got some nice ground up eggshell, and I mixed it into titanium white, or it's a buff white, the best stuff for mixing. I made shells over those projects, surrounded by those raven's feathers and that messy nest. And I tried to find a robin's egg blue. I only had a couple blues to work with. This is a very good quality dry, like a chalk pastel. And this looks just like a raven's egg. We'll put a picture at the end. I noticed that you wrote something about COVID on your art, and I know that you didn't want me to read that, and I admit that Dad did catch it on camera, and I got a little peek, and I noticed that you said that it was Mother Nature raging at us through COVID or something like that.
Kind of. It was Mother Nature's way of saying, wake up, climate. It worked for now.
And he seals in his words, like I sealed mine in their shells. I want to give Dad some material to work with about how beautiful this art directive is from Julie. That you make your eggs in your nest, and you write inside each egg something that you are wanting to hatch this season and to feed until it can fly. You can be artistic with the interpretation of season and fly. What do birds do on their eggs? They roost. We're roosting waiting for our eggs to hatch. Maybe we can hear your bird in the background.
Mm-hmm. I wish I was small. That would be paradise.
Right in there.
Yeah.
Be like a little water elf, water fairy, a nymph.
Mm.